This is kind of how all of us have felt throughout the course of today. It's a leaping, diving, oh my God, did that just happen sort of Saturday around the landscape of college football. We knew it would be a doozy. It has lived up to it. It's a college football show presented by AT&T 5G. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. Look, I'm just going to be real with you guys. We're always going to be very honest about what's going on in the background here. AJ, we've got Tennessee, Alabama going down to the wire, and we just had a turnover that Alabama turned into a touchdown. We can promise nothing for the first few minutes of this show. I mean, AJ, for obvious reasons, is very passionate about the outcome of this. My bank account is very passionate about the opposite side of this outcome. So,
hey man, you never bet against the Tide. Never bet against the Tide.
Oh, that feels like sage advice right now. We will keep you updated on that game as it goes, but we got a ton of highlights to get to. That wasn't the only big matchup. Michigan taking on Penn State in one of the games everybody had their eye on. A top 10 matchup. Full maze out. Look at that stadium. It looks like mustard. Let's go. JJ McCarthy drops back. Looks like he's getting a little pressure. Just heaves it up in the air. Oh, somehow manages to get the completion.
How is this not picked off?
Michigan scores on that drive. They go up 13-0. I don't know what he's thinking right there, right?
I mean, you can't do that.
Well, he did, and he got away with it somehow. We pick it up here. Penn State with the ball. They hadn't gotten a first down yet in this game. Pretty little keeper right there.
Take off, old man.
Yeah,
Clifford.
Clifford the dog is the dog. Gets him all the way down to the 3-yard line. Penn State at one point had more touchdowns than first downs when they were up 14-3. We've got Michigan here. It looks like a little double doink action. Little double doink. And all of a sudden takes it back for the pick six.
House call. Love it. The tumble at the end.
Got to have a little
style.
Then
he gives them a thumbs down.
Okay.
All right. Stink.
Well, the thumbs down is kind of how everybody felt about Penn State's rushing defense. We'll get into that as the day goes on. But Blake Corum just goes through everybody, around everybody, 61 yards. I mean, at this point, it's just, sorry, that was Donovan Edwards on that for 67 yards. Why did I get confused? Because both of them went off. Corum goes off here for 61 yards. A remarkable day by the running backs. So remarkable that I'm flustered. 31-17 at that point. This was a close game for a little bit, and then Michigan just started running it all over them. This was we've been asking all year for a statement moment from Michigan. We got a statement moment. They had more yards rushing today than the rest of the season had been given up by Penn State. Penn State had no offense against them. Big win for Michigan.
Huge win. Huge win. I mean, Edwards, Corum, that O-line for Michigan was opening up some holes all day long. I mean, great runs by those guys, but, I mean, they had some huge holes to run through. And for Penn State to be the number 5 rush defense coming into this game, I mean, Michigan's offense and rushing attack made Penn State look like they weren't even on the field.
I was stunned at the half that this was a close game because it was a thorough butt whooping that somehow was a close game. And I said earlier, but it's only happened, I think, 2 other times in history where a team had more touchdowns than first downs at the end of the first half. And that remarkable that it was even close. And in the second half, the wheels fell off Michigan. But frankly, 41-17, the final score, it felt like it could have been that at the half. There was so little offense generated by Penn State. We'll get into Michigan's offense, but Michigan's defense absolutely helped Penn State to being insignificant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Penn State struggled, and I thought Penn State as an offense would come into this game with a much better game plan. I mean, you just had a bye week. Like, did we go down to the beach? What were we doing during the bye week? Like, did we just take the whole week off? Because I mean, usually, and now you can get into 2 situations as players and as coaches during a bye week. Like, you can watch so much film that you end up overanalyzing and overthinking everything and then get yourself into some stuff that you really shouldn't have, any business being in. So, I don't know. They just absolutely struggled. And then for Sean Clifford to, 7-19 for 120 yards, I thought for sure I picked him to have a much bigger game, and that was a big letdown.
Well, we're going to use the fancy screen next to us to break down some of this. So for the first time Penn State allowed 300-plus rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in a conference game since 2016. That was also against Michigan. And you mentioned these running backs, but they both went off. We'll take a look here.
I mean, right there, like, if there was a way to stop it just a little bit sooner, the attack, I mean, you got 3 O-linemen right here, 2 maybe a tight end right here, that are 3 to 4 yards deep into the line of scrimmage. And there's not a guy around Blake Corum right here. And then his job is make one man miss. Hey, as an O-line, we're going to get you up to the secondary. Your job is to make one guy miss. Blake Corum did that. And how about the big fellas right here? Smiling. You got to love it. I mean, Harbaugh knows, listen, if Michigan runs the ball like this for the remainder of the year, when they play Ohio State, they're going to need this rushing attack. If they do it, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Take a look at this little touchdown run by Edwards.
Again, he goes in untouched. Like, everybody, the whole O-line had a hat on a defender. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a great job by their O-line creating push up front and opening up huge holes for their running backs all day long.
Well, we'll keep breaking it down because styles make fights, and Michigan has shown us that their style is going to be to run the ball right down people's throats, the exact opposite of what we're seeing in Tennessee. Tennessee, by the way, trailing Alabama by 7 right now. We'll keep you updated on that one. But let's get to the highlights from Auburn at number 9, Ole Miss. And it starts this highlight with one of my favorite names in all of college football. We'll watch the pageantry, but this is all about Jackson Dart. Just a cool name. Takes the snap, runs up the middle on the keeper, 22-yard gain, puts Ole Miss in scoring position. They're having a good time. They're ready for it. Judkins takes a handoff up the middle, makes contact, gets a good push. The fat boy said, you're getting in the end zone, want it or not. 38-24 at that point. Ashford takes the snap here. Ashford trying to run up the middle, make something happen. Pushes his way into the end zone. Auburn kept in this one, 38-31. Now look at that. Just Judkins again. Nothing but wide open spaces. Dixie Chicks for you. Goes straight through it. Absolutely makes it look easy. 41-yard touchdown. Ole Miss goes on to win 48-34. Interesting here. Auburn had 20 rushes for 178 yards from Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Auburn had the game plan they wanted. They wanted to run the football. They did. And Ole Miss did not care. Like, Ole Miss, in a world where we just said styles make fights, Ole Miss's style is we're going to put up 45-plus on you, so you better be ready for it.
Oh, 100%. And when you Jackson Dart had a decent game. I mean, nothing special. 9 of 19, 130, but he did have 3 TDs and 1 interception. But, listen, Lane and those running backs he has in Ole Miss, like, that's what makes them so special. And I've been talking about it for a while, Fitz. Like, Lane is different this year in his mindset. In the past, he's been pass first, run second. He is run first this year in the spread offense, and it really helps him out.
First time Ole Miss has had 3 100-yard rushers in a game, which included Jackson Dart in the last 25 years. Also, I love this nugget, in the 5th time in the AP poll era, that goes all the way back to 1936, that Ole Miss has scored 40 or more in back-to-back conference games. Of those 5 instances, 3 have come under Lane Kiffin. So it just reminds you that my guy figures out how to score points. No matter, love him or hate him, the guy gets out there and figures out how to score points.
He does. But I tell you what, if Auburn's offense didn't have Tank Bigsby, they wouldn't know how to score any points. They're bad.
Not speaking of bad, I got good for you. We'll get you a couple updates. Oklahoma State, TCU, big comeback by TCU. They're headed into overtime, tied at 30 each. We'll keep you updated. Tennessee with the ball right now, driving 5 minutes to go in that game, down by 7 to Alabama. We'll get you all the updates you need. You'll see the reactions on set as it happens. But also, Iowa State took on Texas today, number 22 Texas. Everybody getting ready for this one? We picked this up with Texas within scoring range. Quinn Ewers, who's just making everything look easier.
He's so good right now with those RPOs.
Jordan Whittington with that touchdown catch. But Iowa State wants in on this too. Deckers throws a 54-yard touchdown to Noel. Keeps this one close at that point, 17-14. Now 4th and goal, Ewers for the Longhorns. Throws an 8-yard touchdown pass. You like that?
Great route. Snag route, wide open.
Now 4th quarter. Texas leads 24-21.
Oh.
Got to take the ball with you. This is one of those games.
He's hurt right here. Look at this hit, dude. Shoulder right here.
Oh. That's tough to watch.
Yeah.
Tough to watch. And that turns out to be the defining moment. Everybody's worked up over it. Should have been targeting in his mind. 24-21 is your final. We'll show you a play later in Bro that you got to see out of this one. Iowa State had the chance with a wide-open walk-in touchdown that could have won this game, dropped by the receiver. So Iowa State's going to look back at this game for a while and say, man, we did less than Texas winning it. Iowa State's going to feel like they lost it.
Yeah, Texas struggled. The way they played last week was completely different than how they played, this week. And maybe it's because of the big win last week and being a blowout and all that and just the high coming off that. And it's hard you have to have a really good team, a really mature team to come off a huge win like last week and then still be ready to play the next. But Quinn's playing, I'm telling you, I'm a believer in Texas with Sark. And when Quinn Ewers is playing, I think Texas is a top 10 team in the country. Defense, they struggled today, but offensively, they put up some points and they can play.
Each of Iowa State's last 9 losses has been by 1 score. That's the second longest streak over the last decade for any team in college football. They have 9 straight 1-score losses. If you're Iowa State, you are looking at this thing saying, man, every single week, the game of inches thing is a kick in the no-no places. By the way, interesting play for Tennessee. They just have 4th and inches. They did not get it, but there was an illegal procedure penalty on Tennessee.
Run it back. Run it
4th
back.
and 5th.
Run it back.
4th and 5, I should say.
Run it back. Run it back, baby.
Alabama trying to run it back. We'll see. They got a pick at about the 1-yard line trying to run it back. 3:45 to go in that game. TCU has scored an overtime touchdown also to take the lead over Oklahoma State. There is a penalty on the Alabama-Tennessee play, so we'll see how that you're going to know how that plays out, right? Look at this. Do we know what the penalty is? What?
It's back, so they better not be calling pass interference this late.
What's crazy to me is that it was 4th and inches. It was 4th and inches, and Tennessee did not convert. But what's wild to me out of that is that it was an illegal procedure false start penalty that gave them another shot at it.
Right.
That's one of those weird moments. Now the officials are huddling up, and
they're going to try to give them a pass interference right here.
I mean, I'm telling you, I got a bunch of highlights to show you, but we're going to have to wait because this is drama. I'm feeling for you right now. Also, again, feeling for my wallet because I am the idiot that
what do you think right here?
Doubled down. There's there's no pass interference on that. And also, just a great
If I'm a quarterback for the opposing team, I'm fighting for pass interference.
What takes so long in the call, though? What are the refs talking about
I don't know. I don't know if it's on the return, and that's why they're trying to figure out where it was at.
Okay, so the multiple fouls on the play, pass interference defense.
So they're going to replay it if it offsets, unless they're both on them.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the second portion of that, but we can't see the pom-poms. The orange pom-poms are everywhere. And, it's pass interference. So Tennessee is still alive in this game. This game
that's
that was
such a bad call, though.
It was 28-10 at one point, and Tennessee looked like they were going to have their way with Alabama. And now we are looking at a tight game, and they've called pass interference.
That's such a ticky-tack call, though. He gets his head around. It's not like he was face guarding.
Yeah, I'm not sure
First
exactly.
and 10 now.
It looked to me like, as somebody that has an uncomfortable amount of influence, I really want Tennessee to win this game. I'm not going to lie. Might eat ramen for the rest of the month if they don't. But I'm just saying, at some point, it looked to me like 2 guys fighting for the ball. We'll keep you updated. But, they're putting up the score. Look at that. We put them in such a bad position. The guys on the crew are like, we're going to put up a graphic, like it or not. Touchdown, Tennessee.
And they're going to get targeting right here. Watch.
Oh, touchdown, Tennessee. This is now pending the extra point. Tennessee did miss an extra point earlier. We now have a 3:26 to go. 5 touchdowns all.
Jalen Hyatt is 5 receiving touchdowns. This is his 5th right here.
We will keep you updated, I promise. But they are getting in my ear, and they are yelling, we must go to Kansas, Oklahoma. Remember a few weeks ago when I was telling you how great Kansas is?
Oof.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. Jason Bean here finds Lawrence Arnold.
Unbelievable
Ridiculous catch. Really nice catch. We're tied at 7 early on. Nice unis, by the way,
Dude.
for Oklahoma.
Both of them.
Yeah.
I love Kansas unis and Oklahoma. After this one, they better keep them.
Look at Eric Gray here. You press the O button. Great little spin move. And that leads to just an effort to get it in the end zone. That makes it 14-7. Now, Dylan Gabriel, who had a nice game, pump fakes, throws
Wide
the
open.
dart.
Good Lord.
Yeah, what happened there?
DB bit on it.
Yep.
On the screen.
You can see, yep, DB bit on it. Nice little ball there. Dylan Gabriel with the easy touchdown. Sooners go up 28-14. It was at one point a bloodbath. The final score of 52-42 makes it feel a lot closer than it was. I'll give a little bit of love. Jason Bean, we mentioned 4 passing touchdowns, second consecutive game. That's great. But Oklahoma, 701 yards in offense. 701 in one game. How the hell?
I mean, I don't know where that offense for Oklahoma's been all year, though. I mean, they've been non-existent for the past 3-4 weeks.
Not anymore, man. Dylan Gabriel.
I mean, he had himself a hell of a day today.
403 passing yards for Dylan Gabriel. That's and look, 487 yards in the first half. They came out playing video game football, dude.
They really did. It's crazy that he throws for that much and only has 2 touchdowns. But Bean for Kansas, I mean, he had a good day. Threw for 265, 4 touchdowns. He just had 2 interceptions, and they were killers. They were just in bad times when they started to get some momentum back in the game, and then he would throw a pick. So it's things, you just can't do. But, it was still a great game, and it was good to see Oklahoma at least start playing well on the offensive side. 4
straight times that Kansas has lost when they've been ranked. You rank Kansas, they lose football games. This is what happens. It's an unfortunate turn for Lance Leipold in Kansas, but we'll see if they can get it turned around. We have got to get you focused a little bit. We'll keep you updated on the games going on, but Clemson, Florida State is our big primetime matchup. Obviously, that is the beautiful Doak Stadium right there. They're going to be ready for this one. Florida State's lost 2 straight, tried to turn it around for a lot of momentum on that program with Norvell early under there. Woo. AJ's not. Look, I feel like we've had Clemson so many times. We're in a long-term relationship at this point with Clemson. At this point, we're third, fourth date. Things are going well. You and I have had to talk a lot about Clemson football and a lot about the ACC. It's like a weekly tradition. 7:30 p.m. tonight. You can authenticate in the ESPN app. You can hang out. You can watch it right there. Clemson is the favorite in this game. Florida State, though, I do want to at least give them a little bit of love. For the fact that this season started better than they expected. DJ Uiagalelei, 14 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Every week I think we talk about it. He seems to be efficient, right? He's not Hendon Hooker. That's not who he is as a quarterback. He's just efficient. And that was our keys for him last week, right? When me and you talked was he had to be efficient. He had to play a different style game than Clemson just asking DJ to go out and throw for 300-400 yards and do everything he can to win the game. That's not him. Take the pressure off of him. Let him manage the game some. Let him dink and dunk a little more. Let him use his athletic ability, as you see right here. He had a much better game against NC State. And that's the style he's going to have to play, and the Clemson offense is going to, have to play tonight down at Florida State. So. Well, especially after we saw from Michigan. You and I feel like every week have been having real conversations about who's the number 4 team in all the land. Who's the other team that belongs in the playoff conversation? Well, Michigan today basically said, hey, for all you doubters out there, we just did that to a really good run defense. So I think for Clemson, you've got to be looking at it the same way, saying Clemson – every week is about making a statement, right? You've got to come out and win these games pretty definitively with the committee starting the playoff process. 100%. I just think, for me, the thing that might bump Michigan above them is the fact that Michigan, I feel like, has played the Big Ten's a little tougher than the ACC. But
listen, Clemson, if they just keep winning, you'll be fine. So just do what you're supposed to do. Focus on your game, your ability. Play how you know how, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, Will Shipley, another portion of it is you see Will out there getting warmed up and getting ready for the game. I mean, this is a Clemson team I feel like we all know really well, and we know what to expect. You make a great point about just winning. The only thing I would say to that is just win, baby, is a great mantra, but there's a lot of real estate left ahead for all of these teams. If you're Michigan, you're going to take care of your own business because you got Ohio State in a few weeks, right? Like, if you're Alabama, if you're, depending on the outcome of this game, if you're Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, you got plenty of opportunity to, got plenty of real estate left in front of you. For Clemson, because to your point, the ACC may not be as respected, I think there is a little bit more every week. Every week you're coming out and you're winning with a little bit of style.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to. Just because the conference is weaker. And, like I think last week I had put the ACC fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
Behind, the Big 10, Big 12, and the SEC. So you definitely have to have some style points when you're winning, win by some big scores. Oh, gosh.
Oh, Alabama missed an opportunity there in the middle of. Are you okay, buddy?
He was open.
Okay. You know what? Real quick, let's get our picks in on this game. Clemson versus Florida State. I'm gonna go Clemson on this one, right? Like
all day.
I'm gonna go Clemson. You're gonna go Clemson. I think the 4.5 number is actually kind of a pretty good. I don't think this is a blowout. I think the 4.5 number to me kind of speaks to where I expect it to be. I don't think Clemson necessarily runs away with it, but I do think Clemson wins. By the way,
I think they win by 10.
By 10, okay. I think it's closer than that. Oklahoma State, TCU is still in overtime. We're 37-37 at this point. We're in double overtime. That's not the only primetime matchup we have tonight, though. We also have USC taking on Utah. And for all of our conversation about who the number 4 team is in the land, USC has an opportunity to put another stamp on their resume. And Utah, I mean, for a team that came into this season with high expectations going into Florida, they lose tonight, this whole thing falls off the rails, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Utah had all the hype leading in, playing against Florida, opening the year up, Cam Rising, didn't have a great game. He's played better as the weeks have went on. He's a hard-nosed kid. I like watching him play. But I just don't see it happening tonight. Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, that USC offense is a firepower. They got weapons all over. It's just, can Utah score?
Stick there for a second, though, because like Lincoln Riley coming into USC, we all knew was one of the biggest stories. And at a college football seminar this summer, when I was asked the biggest stories in college football this year, I think the relevance of West Coast football because of Lincoln Riley,
right?
It changes the way we watch the game. We're staying up later. But why is he successful so quickly? Like, because we're seeing LSU, for example, takes a minute, right? Like most new coaches, the concept is takes a minute. Lincoln Riley comes in, doesn't take a minute.
I think you mentioned it. I think they're two different caliber of coaches, him and Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, and I'm not saying he's not a good coach. But would I put him in the same category as Lincoln Riley and the success that Lincoln had at Oklahoma while he was there compared to what Coach Kelly did at Notre Dame? And Lincoln got a good amount of transfers and people to come with him. And it always helps. It always helps when you can have your starter from the previous year, and if he is allowed to come with you, like, that's the key right there.
That's we talk about the transfer portal a lot, like the change in college football, like the fact that Lincoln Riley went somewhere and has his quarterback with him, I think makes a huge difference. I think USC rolls. Let's get our picks in on this game. I think USC rolls, and what we're going to find out is we were too high on Utah based on last year, and we were probably right about what we thought. I think USC wins this game pretty comfortably. What do you think?
What is it?
2?
How do they do it?
Okay.
Isn't that USC's deal or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Yeah, I do know that, again, we're now in double overtime for Oklahoma State taking on TCU. That's 40-37. Oklahoma State has the lead. TCU has the ball with their opportunity to match.
The 10, 15-yard line.
Yeah, so and then we are at about, 45 seconds to go in Tennessee taking on Alabama. That game is currently tied, but it is tied At around midfield, Alabama has the ball, 45 seconds left, 3rd and 10. So this will be a big play. Somebody's hurt for Tennessee. You can't see there that's limping off the field. But this is interesting because you've got this moment here where if you're Alabama, I mean, you've got the ball. You're at midfield. It's 3rd and 10. Aggressive or not? What would you do?
You got to be.
You got to be?
Got to be. I mean, you got the reigning Heisman winner under center. Give him a chance. And OB, I would think, is going to give him a chance. Because you got to try to get in field goal range. Field goal range for them is about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, I think that's sounds right. OB, for anyone watching, Bill O'Brien.
Oh, Bill O'Brien, yeah.
Is the offensive coordinator for – no, that's okay. Is the offensive coordinator for Alabama. And so, yeah, they're in shotgun at midfield. That crowd looks absolutely insane. Have I ever told you my first third Saturday of October story, AJ?
No.
First time I ever experienced it? I just moved to Nashville, right? And I didn't really know anything about, why.
He's open.
That's a big completion for Alabama. They get the first down. 38 seconds left. Alabama is now in field goal range.
Let's center it up and kick it. Center it up and kick it.
What we'll see. We'll tell you what happens. But we're going to a live look into overtime between Oklahoma State and TCU in the second overtime. Now, this is the match opportunity. Oh, man.
Max Duggan.
I mean, diving forward, trying to – oh, did he get in?
I think he's short.
What an effort and what a competitor. No, he's
Oh.
when he lost his job, I stayed
Short by
because I wanted to
3
compete.
inches.
And I told
They're calling it 1st and goal, and this would obviously be for the win. TCU
I like those
trailed
leads.
big in this. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I do.
No, I'm with you, too.
he struggled to throw it.
Let's see. Waiting for the snap. Takes the snap.
Now he's trying
No.
Oh, now he's dropped for a loss?
Yep. He's hurting.
Do you like that play call?
No, I don't.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I don't. Quarterback power at that point,
It's a fine line between if he's your best athlete and your best
Yeah,
player,
I
keep the
mean,
ball in his hands. But
right.
I'm with you. I'm not sure there's no real option for him to do anything other than score or get his butt kicked. So we got 40-37 here. Obviously, you can see it's the second overtime. So this is to win the game. TCU scores here, they would win on 2nd and goal.
the receiver up there is 8 yards off the ball.
Get in! Oh, the running back just tosses it in. Easy touchdown, and they storm the field.
Well, TCU's got the right of way basically to play in the Big 12
Yeah.
championship.
The Big 12's right there for them. And TCU, by the way, I mean, they're like we see so often in this situation. You just talked about controlling your own destiny. All
Yeah.
TCU has done is found creative ways to win every single week. It's not easy for TCU. It's not always pretty, but, man, that's a big win.
That's a huge win.
And they were trailing in that game. The same thing that we talked about earlier with Alabama. Alabama was down by 18, and now it's a tie game, So you've got to look at this from TCU's standpoint and say, hey, you showed the moxie to come back against Oklahoma State. That's a big win.
A huge win. Dude, I love their offense. I always forget his first name, but Lincoln Riley's brother as the OC. What is it, Garrett?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But yeah,
Garrett Riley. But his play calling, I mean, it's good to see TCU pull this out because they've had some blowout wins that helped, get their name out there and really blow up this year. But to see them fight back, trailing, and come from behind win, it's awesome to see. And they're a fun and exciting team to watch for sure.
Speaking of fun and exciting teams, how about them undefeated Orange? We got NC State taking on Syracuse.
Love it.
Coming in, it was a wild crowd. Garrett Schrader throws to Gadsden for a touchdown here. Look at that toss. Gets it right up to him.
Back shoulder, can't stop it.
Makes it 7-0. Now it's 10-3. Schrader with all kinds of time. Just heaves the ball deep.
Ugh.
Not sure that's what you were looking for right there.
No.
Wolfpack gets the big stand. It's 10-3 at the half. Schrader now looking downfield. Gadsden wide open. Absolutely easy. Now we pick it up. Jack Chambers trying to get something done. Remember, NC State without their starting quarterback for the rest of the year.
What are we doing?
Leary
right
out. He just takes forever to try and find something.
What are we doing right there, big fella?
There's nothing to happen.
Oh, my God. He missed it. Oh, my God.
We'll get you updated on what just happened in a second here. Time winding down, 17-9. Look at this. Sean Tucker finds an opening, runs for 25 yards for the touchdown. That seals it, 24-9. Don't blink now. Syracuse remains undefeated. It feels so weird to say number 18 Syracuse and not be talking about basketball. But, man, another big win for the Orange. And, look, I'm just trying to be somewhat professional. Alabama just had the chance to win the football game with what looked like a fairly easy field goal for them. And it was pushed wide right. Tennessee is still alive. This is a tie game. I can't see yet on the replay how much time is left. How you doing, AJ?
The problem is right here is they're going to have enough time to try to kick their own field goal.
15 seconds is all Tennessee has.
And they got 2 timeouts.
They got 2 timeouts, 15 seconds. They are on their own 36-yard line. So it would take a fairly Herculean effort. I will say this. We've seen a lot of long bomb completions. So it looks like Hooker's looking for that.
Look,
throws it.
Wide open.
Wide open. Receiver gets down. They're going to call timeout with roughly 9 seconds left. And now it's going to be Tennessee's ball on the plus 49. So they are just over midfield.
And they only need about 8 yards to be in field goal range.
So you only have 9 seconds. From a quarterback standpoint, walk me through what you're thinking on the line between aggressive and getting the ball out of your hands quickly, because 9 seconds isn't a lot of time.
Well, I mean, you can hold it right here, just a split second longer, just because if you need a receiver to come into second window, like at 9 seconds, you got enough time. Now, you can't extend the play. You can't get outside the pocket. So the best thing right here is to either he's open and you hit him, or run, get down, or just take a sack, and go into overtime. Whatever you do, don't turn the ball over. If
you're the receiver, are you looking to fall down the minute you catch the ball?
Yeah, this would be what I would come in the huddle and say, hey, we're in a down
Down.
situation.
Oh, so get the first down, get down?
As soon as you get it, get down.
Down. All right.
So right here, they know their mark's going to be, a yard past the first down marker. So I would think they would try to push the sticks here and try to get something.
Hooker holding the ball.
The dagger again.
He's holding the ball. And he gets a completion, and they get the timeout with 1 second. No, it looks like time ran off.
No, they're going to get it. They're going to give it 1 second left.
They're going to look at it.
They're going to win this game.
This was Tennessee just completed you called it a dagger.
Yep.
So Tennessee, Hooker gets the completion. They're going to have to look at it and see when he hits the ground. The ball is completed at about the 23-yard line.
That's 1 second.
2 seconds, 1 second.
It should have stopped at 2 seconds or 1, because in college, once you get the first down, it stops anyways.
Right. So the completion.
How do we not go make it play? How?
I mean, so now Tennessee with the ball, and you can see Heupel immediately running to try and call a field goal. You're watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G, by the way. I'm Jason Fitz, hanging out with AJ McCarron. If you don't hang out with us every week, you should. We get you all the highlights. We get you caught up for everything you need to know. This game has particular significance, not just because it's the biggest game in the country today, number 3 versus number 6, but also because AJ has 3 championship rings, right? 3?
3
championship rings from his time with Alabama. So obviously a lot of love, one thing we've always embraced on this show. So Tennessee trying to go for the game-winning field goal. 2 seconds were put back on the clock. So timeout call by Alabama. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Icing the kicker? Does it really, you're a kicker. Do you really get iced?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Listen, don't ask me about kicking during my days at Alabama, okay?
But you were the holder, right?
Yeah,
so
and it was rough.
Was it okay?
We just had some bad times, but
did you ever look at the kicker and just say, "Hey, you, calm down"?
I kind of just tried to stay quiet because I was hoping that he was in his own zone, but
okay, and that's fair. Well, they called the timeout to ice the kicker. We are obviously in the home stadium, a stadium that Tennessee knows well, and I'm not sure. You never know in this situation if they put it on the hash mark he likes or doesn't like. I won't pretend to know. But I will tell you 2 seconds left, and they are lining up for the attempt at the game-winning field goal. We will see how it goes here. The snap, the hold, the kick is up. The kick.
No good!
The kick is good.
God,
the kick is good. And Tennessee has just done the impossible.
He hit a knuckleball.
Tennessee just beat Alabama. They've lost the last 15 times. It has been 5,800 and something days, as they said on game day. They are absolutely going nuts in Tennessee, rightfully so. This was a crazy game. I promise you, we will get you all the highlights. This is a big win for the program, for Coach Heupel, what they're trying to build at Tennessee. This is a big win for the program. For Alabama, you, like everybody else in the SEC, you know you still got plenty of football left ahead of you, plenty of time to turn around and make their season happen.
Yeah, I mean, for them, it's win out and you're still going to play in the SEC championship.
Right.
So now, I mean, you got to win the SEC championship. You can't take a loss there. So, listen, you went out, you're fine. You're back in the same boat you were in before this game. You're going to be a playoff team. So.
I'm genuinely interested to see where the voters in the playoff committee put Tennessee at this point. They came into this game number 6. They just beat the number 3 team at home on a last-second field goal. Incredible win for Tennessee. We'll get you all the highlights, but first we want to get you a live look in as LSU is taking on Florida right now in a matchup between two SEC teams that, frankly, I think came into the year with their own set of quiet expectations, and I don't think either team has lived up to them. This is a big game. Kirk Herbstreit today said this is a coin toss game. The game is in the swamp, so he gave the advantage to Florida. But you're talking about two teams that need to get these sorts of wins. Whether you're Kelly or Napier, culture-establishing wins matter, right?
Yeah, 100%. And nice cut. I would give the go ahead to Florida. I think Florida, from a offensive standpoint, and feeling like they have a little more chemistry than LSU. LSU's had some offensive struggles. You got Booty, that All-American receiver that didn't want to be on the team, or
right.
kind of going back and forth with the play calling and everything. So if Anthony Richardson can just not turn the ball over.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback become a sensation and then fall out of grace as quickly. Anthony Richardson going in, and we did this last year. Anthony Richardson had a couple of big games, and everybody was like, man, this kid, and then it didn't pan out. And that's okay. Like, that's just part of the growth process for a quarterback. That week 1 win against Utah, and all of a sudden it was, this kid could be the first pick in the draft. Everybody going nuts. And now it's, again, back to a fall from grace. So, I think I don't want to say a fall from grace. There's a lot when you're on a staff and you're learning. You mentioned earlier USC has the advantage of Lincoln Riley brought in a quarterback that knew his offense. Like, Florida didn't have that. Billy Napier wasn't bringing somebody over from Louisiana that was going to help him with his offense. So it's asking a lot for a kid to come in and suddenly not only get their career right, but also get a new offense learned at once.
Oh, 100%. And, it's your first year. Anytime, like, it's almost, it's so rare to go into your first year, a whole new offense, new system, and be successful. It's tough. It is one of the toughest things in football. It's one of the toughest things as a quarterback. The whole position is to go into a new system and play extremely well. So maybe next year, you just want to see improvement each week from Anthony Richardson and the Gator offense.
Well, the biggest story of the night is the game we're about to recap. It is time now for our AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship, and we take a look at Alabama, Tennessee as they march towards the college football playoff. This game was going to be all about the availability of Bryce Young, questions surrounding how he would play, what it would look like. We pick it up 28-20 at this point, a game that was once 28-10. And it was Jahmyr Gibbs, who's just absolutely unstoppable with the 26-yard touchdown run that ties this game at 28. Everybody getting a little nervous, Tennessee fans. Hendon Hooker, though. Hooker to Hyatt was the theme of the day. 35-28, Tennessee goes up at this point. I should say 34-28. They missed that extra point. Then Jahmyr Gibbs getting it done again. That puts Alabama up 35-34.
He is Alvin Kamara, if I've ever seen it.
Oh, that is a really good comp. Hooker here, 35-34 down. Again, who's he find? Hyatt. 4th touchdown of the game at that point, and puts the Vols up 42-35 after they go for 2-point conversion and get it. Now, a miscue. This was rare on the handoff, it's just dropped. Alabama takes it in, 49-42, and you feel like maybe the moment's too big for the Vols. Maybe it's just not there for the program to get this big win. But pick it up here. 4th and 5. A huge pass interference call because that was a pick.
Yep.
That pick looked like it was going to be returned. Instead, a couple of plays later, this is what we get. A 5th touchdown. Hooker to Hyatt every single time. That's what it was. It's unstoppable. That ties it at 49. Alabama can win it here. But the field goal goes wide right. 16 seconds, 15 seconds on the clock. That's too much time. 2 plays later, here we go.
Dude, how does that kick go?
The knuckleballer from McGrath. And the Volunteers win it. Crowd goes absolutely wild. And Hendon Hooker with a massive, massive day. 21 of 30, 5 touchdowns. We mentioned Jalen Hyatt, 6 catches, 207 yards, 5 touchdowns. Absolutely huge game from the dynamic offensive duo for Tennessee. And Bryce Young, by the way, played really, like this was a game that early on, the Vols scored 21 points quickly. I can't say this loud enough. I mean, Tennessee was the first team to score a touchdown on its first 2 drives versus an AP top 5 opponent since 2021, right? This first time that Alabama has trailed by at least 14 points in the 4th quarter. Early on, this game was stacking towards Tennessee. And then Bama did what Bama does. Bama came back. And it felt like there was a moment where Tennessee was cracking and Alabama was just doing what Alabama does, all the way up to the field goal.
I want to puke. Yeah, I mean, Hendon Hooker played a great game. The thing that worries me about this Alabama team is the secondary. Because if you look at those 5 touchdown passes, none of them were extremely tough passes by Hendon Hooker. Like, he had Jalen Hyatt wide open. Like, on 3 out of 5, there was the closest guy was 3 to 5 yards behind him, and that's wide open in football.
I mean, that's got to, for you as an alum, as a player, as somebody that's used to a certain standard of excellence. Let's be real. This Alabama team this year has not always met that, right? Like we talked about it as we were getting ready for the show, that they came into this game ranked 118th nationally in penalty yards. That's terrible. They came into this game ranked last in the SEC for most drop passes. Like little things make a big difference for this Alabama team that just isn't doing the little things as well as they usually do.
Yeah, the penalties is the most concerning, right? Because that's not a Saban-esque team. Coach has always been about, like, we don't hurt ourselves. You know, if you hurt yourself in a football game, like, it absolutely kills you. It kills the momentum. It kills the energy on the sideline. Like, everybody just feels like we just can't get out of this quicksand. Like, as soon as we think we're out, we're right back in it. So, there they go, tearing down the goalpost. That's real.
Well, while they're tearing down the goalpost, let's take the other side of this real quick, right? Because I heard Herbie today say a win for Tennessee means even if they were to lose to Georgia, even if they don't go to the SEC championship game, they still will find themselves in the playoff, right? In the playoff conversation, I should say.
Right.
Look at their schedule. All right, so now they've got the wins against Pittsburgh, which looks like a pretty good win. LSU, we'll see. Alabama, they have Kentucky in a couple of weeks. Then they have Georgia. Everything's going to – I mean, obviously, you beat Georgia and Alabama in the same season. You're probably going to the college football playoff.
Oh, 100%.
But there's a real path for this Tennessee team, the way they're playing today, to make the CFP.
Oh, 100%. I think even if they lose to Georgia and they don't play in the SEC championship, like I think they're still a top 4 team at the end.
It's a big, big win, and that's why the goalposts are coming down. We'll see what it means for the rest of the season for them. The glorious sounds of cows mooing can only mean one or two things. We're somewhere in Kansas, or it's time for Holy Cow. Still got the.
I know we got to get a new cow.
Also, like,
can we do that?
Who took the picture of this cow? Like, did you lay on the ground to take the picture?
Yeah, they were up close and personal.
We're gonna show you some scores, some plays, and then we'll score them. And we start Kansas. Lauren Arnold keeping his eye on the ball. What a catch! Come up strong, big man. Look at this. Don't got it? Don't got it? Got it. Now I have to score this. And you know that I'm not the easiest scorer in the world sometimes. So I give it the big 74, because you wouldn't have to catch it twice if you caught it the first time. I'm just saying. Look at that. I'm coming at I'm so inconsistent. Central Michigan faking a field goal here. You like this one, right?
Yeah. Hey, it's been done before, though, Fitz. Like LSU back in the day against Florida, beat them with it, and the kicker actually scored on the play, scored a touchdown, so I can't give him too much credit. 68.
68.
I mean, it was nice. Like, he started to feel like he was an athlete a little bit, and then realized he wasn't.
Oh, man. Well, we got some athletes here. We got this big catch coming up. Look at that. That's a hell of an interception, right? Like, at some point you're looking at it saying, I sure would like the ball, and I shall take it. I like that play a lot. You know what? I'm starting to question my own score on this. Look, I was a little tough on it. I gave it an 83. Like, I don't know why. Now I'm looking at it again thinking, what the hell am I doing? All right, let's get to the next play.
He's on something right now.
Ole Miss.
Nasty.
Tip drill right there. Look at this.
Bad ball. Got to get it down, but unbelievable play right here by the DB. Finley. I see you, man.
What are you giving this one?
I'm going Hundo.
What? All he did was dive.
Hundo.
All he did was dive. God, this is getting way too easy. You want to see a real interception? How about this one? Look at this play. Ooh. Oh, my God, for Oklahoma. When your body is going in one direction, you can still say, go, go, gadget arms, up, up, and away. Knock the ball down to yourself and get it as you fall. Oh, that's pretty. You know, that being said, I'm not out here willy-nilly in these hundreds like you are. I gave this a high score, not quite 100. Not quite 100. 98. You gotta leave a little room for improvement.
What other 2% gives him 100?
I mean, I don't know. Like that, you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it.
That's a problem. Bad play right
how about
here.
This one? Penn State pick 6. This had everybody up in their fields early on in this game. Double boink. Then you go ahead and run it in for 6.
Bad ball, but I love the tumble at the end. That bumps the score up for me.
I like the focus of getting it off the helmet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's right there in front of you. I understand that, but the reason I gave him this score coming up is because of that.
Oh, okay.
80.
Look at an 80.
80.
An 80.
Wow. Mean, unbelievable. And he didn't get flagged.
You know what? If I was scoring his scores would only get a 50. This is a holy cow. All right, let's get you a live look in. Mississippi State taking on Kentucky. That's number 16 Mississippi State taking on number 22 Kentucky. And Will Levis going to be back in this game for Kentucky. That makes a big difference, obviously, to the expectations for this team. But this is a good SEC matchup.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, this is a sleeper. I'll tell you what.
Those State helmets are sleepers.
I was just about to say those helmets and the unis are sweet. But Will Rogers and Mike Leach in this offense, they're fun to watch. As a quarterback, that was a nice play by Will Levis, getting that the check down off right there.
Nothing like finding out if your quarterback's good to go in a game by having him just get hammered on a play like that. You know, I think the entire fan base holds their breath. 4th down, aggressive 4th and 1 to go for it here. No, I mean,
early in the game.
Are you more aggressive early in the game?
I would be.
Got more time to make it up, but you're deep in your own territory against what you just said is a good offense, a fun offense to go up against.
That's the bet. I tell you what, this crowd is loud as all get out.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's huge run. It's dangerous because with a firepower offense like Mississippi State has, like you can find yourself down 20 before you know it.
That's a fair point. Also, by the way, I just like every once in a while, 4th and 1 has become such a spread them out and put motion in 37 different ways. Like, I like just handing the ball off and getting her done right there.
Power eye, baby.
That's
Hand her off.
It's a nice little play there. Kentucky, this is their opening drive, trying to put points on the board early on in this game. You're right, the crowd was into it a little.
Yeah, on 4th down, like, you gotta get you, shut up, be quiet.
Basketball school. Don't at me, Kentucky fans. Don't get mad. Another handoff.
Another big run. Gashing them right now.
Anytime the running back feels like he has that long before he even gets touched.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a good cut. That's a block in the back right there.
Can't get them all. Oh, man.
See
Interesting
what they do right here.
Yep.
2nd and, 1?
It's like 2nd and, yeah, I think it's about 2nd and 1. Again, shotgun. Handoff. Or no? Quick throw?
Yep. A little smoke screen. They're going to get them for holding right here.
A couple of flags. Late flag coming in, too.
I think holding on the receiver out wide.
At that point, are you just taking candy from a baby? Like, you see the receivers that open.
My man is pulling a Deion Sanders playing with a headband on.
You can see the motion for holding. We haven't seen where it's going yet, but
Offense.
So we got holding on Kentucky. They'll get to see that play again. That'll back them up for about 2nd and 11 then.
It's going to be up top. Yep. Outside of the shoulder pads. Got to let him go.
Totally unnecessary, too.
Yeah. Got to let him go. Your job, I mean, as a runner, he's got to stick it up in that crease and then just take what he can.
So 2nd and 7. Quick pitch off to the side. Back gets around the corner.
But they are gashing him on the ground.
Another flag, though.
Another holding. Same guy.
What do you think of the all blues?
I love those helmets. Those helmets are sweet.
Yeah, I like them. It's a little smurfy for me, but it's fine.
Yeah. I guess it's only bad if you're tiny.
That's fair. Another holding goal.
I think it's on number 6 again.
That is.
Same receiver.
I mean, you're just, how many plays in the playbook you got for, what now it's 2nd and about 17.
Yeah.
So obviously less than ideal, especially on a drive that started out not only promising, but also aggressive. Like you went for it on 4th down. Now you've wasted all of that extra equity you gave yourself as you're trying to figure out how to make the most of now 2nd and very long.
Well, the crowd was into it. You went from the crowd being into it and positive to now they're pissed off. And they're pissed off at the refs and they're pissed off at you.
Yeah. 2nd and 17 now.
See, this is what you can't do if you're Kentucky. Like you can't be behind the sticks all night, especially when you're, running the ball the way you are and you're staying ahead of the sticks, and you're in short yardage situations on 2nd and 3rd down. Like, got to bring it down, Will. Got to get it down. Put it on his number. But you can't be in this.
What time is it? It's bruh time. You know what we do here. Bruh, delivered by Pizza Hut, where we give you some of the moments throughout the course of the day, AJ, that made us say, bruh. Look at that synergy. Let's start at the top of the list with Iowa State putting the pressure on Quinn Ewers. Quinn goes to throw the ball away.
Oh, no.
But
can't throw it backwards.
No.
Can't throw it backwards.
At least they dove on the ball to prevent the turnover.
Yeah.
That's positive.
That was the only smart thing about that whole play.
Yeah, that's got you saying bruh on a quarterback that we've been pretty positive about for most of the year. But bruh, got to throw it forward.
Yeah.
Bruh, I don't know how much money you paid Paul Feinbaum to let him come into this. Like, how much would it take for you to get in a casket? This is how they did it on SEC Nation.
Not enough, and something's wrong with him.
Oh, something's wrong with Blake Corum. He's puking. I don't know. Like, were you a big game yacker?
No, I never got nervous. Never threw up. That reminds me of like the Replacements. Or any given Sunday.
A little positive energy by just letting it go out the tum-tum. All right, we go back to this Iowa State game. You got one job. Oh, my God.
Whoa.
That's the bruh because, by the way,
he dove like he was going out of bounds or something.
Yeah, and Iowa State ends up losing that game by 3 points. That was late in the fourth quarter.
And you got to catch it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the amount of bruhs right there. And then, bruh, maybe don't piss off Michigan. Like, this is the brawl in the tunnel between Penn State and Michigan. Second straight year going through the tunnel that it has got it heated. And all of a sudden, second half did not go well.
I love it, though.
Yeah. Did you ever get in?
No, we never had the same tunnel as anybody, other than maybe in the national championship, maybe. Yeah, with Notre Dame. That's right.
Yeah, but you were kicking their butts too much to actually have a fight at halftime.
They were over there silent.
Yeah, that's how I usually run things. Bruh, that's all we got. All right, we got Clemson, Florida State going on right now. This is a live look in. Florida State with the early 7-0 lead in this one. Crowd fired up for it.
That's not good.
That's you've talked before about how important it is to get an early score when you're on the road.
Yep.
You know, if you're Clemson, you don't want this thing to get to the crowd too early.
Ugh. Yeah, it reminds me literally. I think of something like this. Like my first big. We played Penn State earlier that year, but I would say SEC matchup was when we went down to the Swamp. They had John Brantley. They had a really good Florida team, and they scored on the first play of the game through like an 80-yard bomb. And that was the loudest stadium I've ever been into. They were going absolutely bonkers. And the only thing that helped calm that crowd down and really take it out of the game was the fact that every time we got the ball, like the first 4 possessions, we went down and scored. Whether it was a field goal, like we got points. And that's what you have to do. When you play on the road in a hostile environment, like you have to get points every possession you can. Because if not, crowd's going to eat you alive.
Now you're in a situation where 3rd and 23 after the unnecessary roughness on the offense call. So instead of just an incompletion, you are again behind the sticks.
Ooh.
And Florida State's flying. By the way, their opening drive was the difference in this. They got the ball, and Jordan Travis with the 20-yard touchdown run. That's what got us to 7-0. And now it looks like they're going to get the ball back relatively quickly. So sort of a worst-case scenario for Clemson that you have a 3-and-out, and you are sending the ball back to an offense that just drove down the field with ease to score a go-ahead touchdown.
I'll tell you what, that's a good job by DJ not forcing that ball like anywhere right there. 3rd and 23, the chances of you getting that, almost 0%.
Is that tough for the instincts? Like, because
it is. Look at this return.
Especially knowing, like, look, when you get to the level of any of you guys that are playing at the highest level of college football, part of it is because you slang it in high school, right? Like, you know that you can put a game on your shoulders and win it. It's got to be hard to come in and say, okay, I'm just going to live to see another day. We're going to punt here, and that's going to be a good outcome.
It's tough, but it wins games. I promise you. Like, you can't be careless with the football. You just take what the defense gives you. I say this all the time. Take what the defense gives you. Eventually, they will give you the game. And if it means ending in a punt on that possession, then so be it. Let the defense go out there. They're going to have to make plays. They're going to have to stop Florida State, which they should. And then just help, in that situation, help flip the field position a little bit. And he did a good job taking the running back on the check down, getting a couple yards. It's fine. Live to see another play.
I do want to give a shout-out to Georgia Southern. They pulled off the upset. James Madison, no longer undefeated. So there you go. Your first James Madison update, I think, ever that I've done on the college football show.
They were ranked 25th.
25th, yeah. Undefeated James Madison. They fall. It was that kind of Saturday. Takes a whole bunch of people behind the scenes to make this show happen. We could never do it without them. Want to take a second, thank Luna, Julius, Court, Mel, and Quentin. He's Agent McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. Thanks for hanging out with the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G.
It's still roll time.